It's been a while, kids. Jan-Man has been working through the holidays, and it's been crazy. I even got stuck in my closet bedroom for 3 days, surviving off crumbs I sucked from the carpet and using my pillowcase as a toilet. But I don't want to bore you with the details of my miraculous escape. I want to talk about movies. Now, if you can read the title or have an adult nearby who can, this is my favorite films of the year. Not the best films of the year. Those lists are for dorks who have to appeal to the lowest common denominator. Ew. So, if you're in the mood to watch reviews that are on par with something you could see on Amazon, you can
get out.
You're in the
Jan-Man's closet now.
One of the real hidden treasures of 2016 was The Founder. Now, this film got swept under the rug, and it was obviously poised to be a summer blockbuster, but I think the Weinsteins had a real problem with it. Not sure why. The script is incredibly good, and Michael Keaton does an exceptionally fantastic job as playing Roy Kroc. For those of you wondering, the plot revolves around the story of how McDonald's went from a simple burger stand to a nationwide powerhouse. Now, the whole film came off as kind of like a made-for-TV movie. The whole time I was watching this, I was getting flashbacks to when I was in high school and used to get prep talks from my coach. The director is also known for making Lifetime-type movies, and he also did The Blind Side. Remember that one? Which reminds me, I got a gift from my mom the other day. You wouldn't expect this film to paint Kroc as such an arrogant jerk, but it kind of feels justified in a weird way. It's one of those movies where you can see a man being tainted by his drive and ambition. It's really rare to see a movie like this done well, and I think everyone who's remotely interested in this should check it out. Kubo and the Two Strings is the best cartoon about parental death since Bambi meets the Lion King. Gorgeously done in painstaking stop motion, this film bombed harder than Mark Wahlberg's career after 9/11.
What? No.
The story of Kubo revolves around the titular character on a quest to get magic armor to fight an angry spirit from his past. The cast in this movie does a great job, and I especially thought that Matthew McConaughey did above and beyond the Call of Duty for this one. He really hit it out of the park. The only real negative for this movie was that the ending felt a little too Disney despite the rather dark tone of the story. But I think that's easily forgivable because it's such a fantastic film. Imagine a film that's 2/3 Spielberg, a dash of pre-winemaking Coppola, and a sprinkling of Jim Jarmusch. None of these names have nothing remotely related to Green Room. I just felt like name-dropping a bunch of hacks. Green Room is easily one of the most intense films I've seen in recent history. I went to the theater to see this, and my hands were glued to my head almost the entire time, because I really had to pee, but the film was super good. The film tells the story of a punk rock band who is desperate for cash, that ends up taking a gig at a not-so-pleasant part of town, and ends up seeing something that they shouldn't, and are trapped in the green room, where it becomes punk rockers versus skinheads. Jeremy Saulnier, who made the equally fantastic Blue Ruin, returns and is proving himself to be a director to look out for. He brings such a feeling of realism to his work that makes the action scenes feel super intense. The film stars Maybe Funke.
Do you guys know where I could get one of those gold necklaces with a T on it?
That's a cross.
A cross from where?
A dead guy, and Jean-Luc Picard. The music in this is great, but kind of reminds me a lot of my ex-girlfriend's mixtape.
The needle tears a hole, the old familiar sting.
She had a thing for 9 Inch Nails and being an ugly person. It's a film that'll have your eyes glued to the screen and make you forget about everything going on in your pathetic little life. Surprisingly, one of the better movies this year came from Ireland and didn't feature a naked man riding a motorcycle. And that film is Sing Street. The story takes place in the 80s in Ireland as a kid asks a girl to be in his band's music video, only to reveal that he doesn't have a band or can play an instrument. It's a very sweet movie that is really well done. If you've ever been in a band, it's a fairly accurate depiction of the writing and playing process. Unlike a certain other film, The soundtrack is really good, utilizing original songs and covers while keeping it all very 80s and Irish. It's the type of movie you put off, but get around to watching and feel like an idiot that you took so long to see it, despite it not having an old woman getting thrown off a cliff. The Witch is one of the best films of the year, but, alright, I'm going to put a huge asterisk on this. If you enjoy films purely on a story level, you will hate this movie. If you enjoy scary movies, you will hate this movie. If you hate history,
You will hate this movie.
Now, what is this film, you're asking yourself? Well, it is an expertly crafted dramatic film with horror elements. Trying to market that is kind of a nightmare. The story for The Witch takes place at a time that doesn't really matter in a place I don't remember, all over this family's exile for doing a thing that I don't really care about. So as this family is being removed from society, they're out in the woods and all sorts of crazy things happen, and supposedly it's all because they made friends with a goat named Black Phillip. The best way to enjoy the film would be to have a little bit spoiled, so skip to the time code if you're a purist and don't want to have me ruin practically nothing for you because you're a freak. And good. Each member in the family has a specific sin that they struggle with the whole movie, and instead of dealing with it, they blame it on their daughter. Personally, I think the film would have been a lot better if the witch wasn't a real thing, like the kids made it up. But it's shown in the trailers, and it's also within the first 10 minutes of the movie. Well, okay, either that's the first 10 minutes of the movie, or it's a picture of Hillary Clinton post-election. This is definitely a thinking person's movie. Now, if that sounds up your alley, then I'd say go for it. But I don't blame you and your Cocoa Puff palate in films if you don't like it. Nocturnal Animals is my favorite narrative film I've seen this year. The film is about Amy Adams, who receives a manuscript of her ex-husband's upcoming novel, and from there the film splits into 3 parts. Part 1 is Amy Adams in the present working as an artist by day and reading the book by night. The second part is the past relationship between her and the White Prince of Persia. And the third narrative is the story itself, which is full of parallels and metaphors between Amy Adams and that gringo's relationship. The film was written and directed by Tom Ford, who made the equally impressive A Single Man a couple of years ago, which I never saw because I didn't care. I didn't know what it was, and I was too busy watching X-Men! The major flaw of the film is unfortunately the writing. Take a look at this shot from the trailer.
I'm worried about you. Were you sleeping? You scared me the last time we talked. You know me. I never sleep.
Who talks like that in a normal conversation?
Yeah, I'm gonna be taking your daughter to the prom. Are you sure you want your daughter going to a prom with a tiny little weakling? You want your daughter to have me, a big old strong-o, don't you? Don't you want your daughter to get double stuffed by this dick? We're gonna drink a lot of wine coolers, and I'm gonna show her my penis.
I get it's a stylistic film, but it's very clunky when you compare it to the hilarious dialogue from General Zod.
What you gonna tell me about Rain Turk?
Who?
Who? What are you, an owl? You an owl, Lou?
I never heard of him.
You never heard of him?
No, sir.
Nocturnal Animals has all the visual splendor you could want from an art house movie and has a plot that is straight from a thriller. And if you're remotely interested in anything I'm talking about right now, go ahead and check this one out. Now you're saying to yourself, oh, Janitor, what was your favorite movie of the year? And I'll tell you right now, it was The Neon Demon. I know I'd say in my other video that you can watch right here that I would do an explanation video for it, and you know what? I'll do that next. So, till next time, people, keep it real.